Mamas in the Matrix, and today we are going to be talking about our top tips through things that we've gone through, things that we are still going through, and just a little bit of insight into motherhood and how we've made our lives easier.
Love that.
Yeah?
Beautifully put.
What am I starting off with?
So her age.
So my daughter is 9 months tomorrow, but yeah, 9 months at the moment. We've just had to put the cot down to the bottom level because she started pulling herself up and sitting up. So you know when you're like, probably got to put this down because it's only a matter of time before she goes and lobs herself over the side of the cot. She has been sleeping a little bit better. Still a lot of wake ups. As soon as that dummy comes out, it's if she can't see it, then I have to go in and give it to her. But it's a quick me find the dummy on the camera before, so I know where I'm going. Get it.
Mission impossible.
Otherwise I can't find it. This is what does my nutty, and sometimes she'll spit it out and it flies into darkness. And I'm literally like,
you can get glow in the dark ones.
I know.
Can you?
Yeah.
Love that.
So it's a quick, and then I run out of the room in really quiet. So you have to do really big steps to run.
Yeah.
So sleeping's a little bit better. Eating, considering when I first gave her, I came wanted to introduce food. Do you remember I gave her the rusks? She was so constipated. She was screaming when I first gave her that. But that was a little bit before 6 months. And then I started off on purees, then found out that basically all the really super organic purees are pretty much like the worst thing you could possibly give your child. Cheers, Ella's Kitchen. Don't want
we might get
sponsorship.
sued.
That's why they're all on offer at the moment.
I know.
£61.50.
We're sending out a note to all of our people. They're all really organic. How can they stay on a shelf then, unrefrigerated for weeks?
Months.
Tell me that, Ella. But don't worry, we don't use you anymore. Don't want a sponsorship. You can shove that up your kitchen. But then I started, when I got rid of the pouches, I started on food, and it turns out that my daughter actually really enjoys food, which is great. But I tried to keep it very healthy. She has one little sweet treat with her dinner, and the rest she loves broccoli, she loves vegetables, chicken, beef, rice, pasta, all stuff like that. But she's on a milk-free diet. I've tried to incorporate things with gluten-free as well, just because I was testing, because she gets eczema on her neck, nowhere else on her body, just on her neck. But I've worked out that she can't have milk, bananas or avocado, which is pretty peak because bananas and avocado were her favourites.
Oh,
yeah.
that's sad.
But it's so they say, we'll just try and rule out food. I'm like, okay, well, do I just cut out all of her food then and then just start introducing little bits? Like, no, but she's used to 3 meals a day now. Okay, well, can I see a dietitian? Yeah, but not for 3 months.
Cool.
What
Cool.
next?
Thank you. That's really helpful. So it was just a case of me giving her the foods one time and then something different, seeing what would change, and then try again to eventually come to my conclusion of what she cannot have.
But you
So-
can amazing.
That's fun. I got there in the end. She does have a lot of the same things for each dinner, but
That's fine.
do you know what I mean? Just a bit of pesto sauce. And then sometimes I think, let me chop up some ham and just whack that in there. Now it's pesto pasta with ham.
Spanish.
That's lovely.
Which you
Spanish.
didn't have them back. Yeah, Spanish.
Spanish.
Multicultural.
And she's pretty much crawling.
Love that.
So that's exciting. She loves plug sockets and wires.
Oh,
It's all
the
great
baby's
stuff.
favourite thing. Did you say her name? Sorry.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Who's
Aurora.
not quite Sleeping Beauty. Shot myself in the foot choosing that name because then she didn't sleep.
Cool.
So that's the irony of that.
My little girl is Lottie, and she's 11 months old, which is just crazy to say out loud. I don't know where that 11 months has gone. That is just wild. We're in the thick of teething at the moment, which is delightful. She was a great sleeper from 12 weeks old, she pretty much used to sleep through the night. So I thought, I've landed here.
This is the problem when you think you've landed,
Yeah,
you haven't.
I thought this is fab. Like, she's a great sleeper. We have no problems. I caught up kind of with the sleep that I missed out on when I first had her, and then it got to 6-7 months, and then it just kind of went to shit. But she's in her own room now. She transitioned to that really well and slept through the night for a couple of weeks, and then she decided don't want to do that anymore. So she'll do about 4 hours in her own bed, and then she just gets into our bed, but that's fine. Food, she's a bit of a picky, not fussy, but she'll just pick at things. She's the complete opposite to Aurora, isn't she? She just likes snacks. So we're working on that, but she's quite happy. She's healthy, so that's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's crawling like a trooper.
She's crawling, yeah. And that kind of happened with no warning. You don't really get, there was no little warnings as to, oh, okay, in a few weeks she's going to be crawling. It kind of just happened, didn't it?
Well, it was just 1 minute not crawling, then
Yeah.
almost all of a sudden tortoise on speed.
Yeah. And she's quick.
fast.
She's quick. So managed to keep all the weight off that I've lost because I don't actually have to sit down. This is lovely. But yeah, that's an overview on Lottie.
So my little girl is Isla. Isla is 19 months old and we are exclusively co-sleeping. We have been since she was about 3 months old. Unlike Aurora, she's similar to Lottie. She's more of a picker. She's 8 more. I breastfed for 16 months. She's 8 more since you. She started eating more since I stopped breastfeeding, and she's also become fiercely more independent since I've stopped breastfeeding.
Has she?
Fiercely so. Like, it was almost immediately.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's always been very, very independent, and she's very headstrong, and she knows what she wants, and I love that in her. It's the Scorpio moon in her, no, Scorpio rising in her. But yeah, since I stopped breastfeeding her, that's when no has come into play. Everything now is no. But I actually was reading a post the other day that my mother-in-law sent to me that they say no when they don't actually even mean it. It's just their first little play of power that they get. The no is their first bit of like, oh, I can actually do what I want with this sort of thing. So she's in the thick of that. I wouldn't say tantruming because I feel like I have a very different definition of tantruming to most people because I can recognise why she's acting the way she's acting, but we will go further into that. So yeah, she's very much in her independent queen phase. She is amazing. She's a beautiful little girlie, and I think she's just an absolute credit to the way that she's loved by so many people. And I'm very grateful. I've got a lot of support around me, and I am very grateful for that because that's made my motherhood journey, like even just us three and like the other friends I've made through motherhood, has made my journey a million times easier. Like I wouldn't be the mum I am today without the people that I have in my life. So yeah. So that's Isla, that's me, and yeah, that's my life, baby.
I feel like we touched on so many different things. It's like blah, blah, blah. But I guess we could run through some tips that we have. I hate to say tips and advice because I never want to seem like I know the answers, because trust me, I don't. I think we can all vouch for that.
To try if you haven't tried it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know until
It's things that we
you
would
give it a
find
go.
helpful when we was in that. Like, we'll start at the newborn phase because like, I feel like unless you are, even I think if you know someone with children, like unless it's probably like a brother or sister where they're very close in your family, I think you are really going into it blind. And I was very, very naive when I was pregnant. Like, I just couldn't comprehend, and I don't think you can until you have children. Like, you don't realise how hard it is, and then when you become a mum, you're like, shit, like everyone that's done this before me has been through this as well, and then you feel bad. It's like, I should have texted more, I should have done this more, because, but you don't. I don't think you should feel bad because you can't comprehend it until you become a parent yourself. And like I say, I was very naive going into it. You can't comprehend how intense it is.
No.
And how 24/7 it is. Like, people can tell you, but until you're living it, you can't comprehend it. Like, the newborn trenches are the trenches for a reason. That's what they call that. No?
No, mine got biased after.
For me, it didn't. This is why I think it's so important to gain multiple perspectives, because for me, the first 6 weeks was so hard, but for me it's got easier and easier since then, personally, I believe. So I think for my biggest tip, if I was to sum it all up into one thing, is that even with anything, with children, everything is a phase. That is my biggest
Yeah.
thing. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. It may feel like it does, especially if you're like first time round in it, but nothing lasts forever. And I think that's so important to hold on to in them early days when you're like shell shocked from like no sleep and that sort of thing. Like that is really nice to hold on to. I think. What about you? What would you say like your biggest one-liner tip?
Well, just off the back of what you've said, is a great tip that you gave me was just have a shower.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm gonna treat myself to a shower. But it's disgusting. But I would go a few days probably without having a shower.
Same, because I
shouldn't
shouldn't
have
have the time to think about it.
Yeah, but I was just so like I stayed with my mum for 3 weeks, which really helped. But as soon as I came back here and Danny went back to work, I was like, oh shit, what the hell am I gonna do? I thought there's so much to do. What am I going to do? And then, oh my God, the evening's going to come around and I'm not going to sleep tonight. So I'm getting all in a panic like 2 hours before bedtime because I know that she's going to be up and she's going to need to be fed and I need to make sure she's got enough milk. And it was just like, blah, blah, blah. So just to have a shower. When your partner gets home, let him sort himself out, but just say, right, I'm just going to take myself off for 20 minutes. Even less if you only think you need less, but just 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Put some music on, just get in the shower, wash your hair, and just come out feeling refreshed and good. That really helped me. And it's such a simple thing. But just taking care of yourself goes out the window when you become a mum, doesn't it? And you feel like you have to ask if it's okay if you have a quick shower. But that's definitely one that I would say. Treat yourself to a nice shower every night. Get your tunes on, get some nice scented soaps on. And mine would be just trust your gut with things, because I'm going through it with teething. She's only got 2 teeth, bless her, in 11 months, but she's got all of, I think, the top 4, all of them coming through at once.
I think this is going to happen to Aurora.
It's like, I just feel so sorry for her, but you can get so...
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I went to the doctors because Lottie's got really sensitive skin, which I'm not used to because I'm mixed race. We don't have sensitive skin, to be honest. Well, not that I know of. I can just kind of do whatever, be in the sun for however long I want. Nothing really affects me. But she gets rashes when her teeth flare up. She's always boiling hot and she's just so irritable. So you take them to the doctors and they said, no, it's not linked to a temperature. And all the things that you say, like they have diarrhea, nappy rash apparently isn't linked as well. That's what he told me. He said they're all old wives' tales. So as soon as he said that, I'm like, right, okay, so it's true. Yeah, okay, so that's why she's got these things. But he was so adamant, no, that's from 100 years ago, all these old wives came up with it. That's what he said to me. I was like, right, okay, noted. I probably won't come to you for any advice going forward, but I'll keep an eye out now for when she's next going through teething. These will be the signs. So yeah, just trust your gut. You know best as a mum. I don't care what anyone says over any healthcare professional. I've always been right when I felt that something was wrong.
Remember, I got sent away from the hospital when I took Aurora. So Aurora had terrible colic for weeks. It would literally be, you'd get to about 4:30, 5 o'clock of an evening, and when I tell you, it would be screaming until 10.
Yeah, it was horrible, wasn't it?
It was screaming, until we found out the hairdryer works. Turn that fucking hairdryer on.
In a safe way.
Yeah.
Is the hairdryer it's white noise, isn't it? The hairdryer, yeah.
But like other white noise on the phone didn't work. It had to be the hairdryer. So then all of a sudden, none of my evenings were ever quiet. I had the pissing hairdryer on for 5 hours.
Stop.
Every
Your electric
night.
bill must have been through the roof.
It won't be electric, thank God. No. Anyway, yeah, it was just, imagine then, all day you're shattered, no sleep, and then from 5 until 10 it's but really loud. So literally every time she'd go to sleep, then she'd be screaming, hairdryer back on. So I tried the hairdryer. And I was pretty adamant fairly early on that she had a CMPA, cow's milk protein allergy. So I took her to the doctors. They were like, yes, put her on this special milk. But we tried Carabel, we tried Gaviscon, we tried this. Tried this prescribed milk, and she carried on with the colic, and I was like, she's really uncomfortable. And then she had what's called, I've done so much research, I don't know if you say it correctly, it's called dyschezia, whatever it is. And basically it's where babies grunt when they need to go for the poo, but that it's not coming out. So there's a lot of effort and a lot of strain and a lot of uncomfortableness, and they're making all these noises, but the signals, just because they probably learned another skill, the signal for the brain down to the muscles that, you know, do the pooing weren't connecting. So then for weeks I'd have to help her go to the toilet, which meant I got shat on a lot because it would straight out when it did, because she had diarrhea because of the milk allergy. So then anyway, prior to this, I took her to the hospital, and she used to squeak. I've got videos of it on my phone, when she was feeding from newborn, and it would be like a really weird squeaking noise.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found out that's called laryngomalacia, which is basically where the larynx is floppy, so it covers your windpipe and it makes the squeaking noise. And I said to the doctor, I was like, she's got laryngomalacia and she's got cow's milk protein allergy. What makes you think she's got a laryngomalacia? I went, well, she has a lot of spit out. She makes squeaking noises and she sounds very raspy sometimes. You can hear it flapping, like in her throat, making the squeaky noise. No, she doesn't. You haven't even looked at her. You have you done a check on her larynx to say it's not laryngomalacia?
If they had, you'd be like, okay, fair, maybe I'm overlooking it, I'm like overthinking
They
it,
didn't
sorry.
even look.
That's clearly just an opinion.
And I said, if she
Yeah.
did, what would you do? Well, they just wait until they grow out of it.
That's helpful.
I was like, okay. Well, what about the cow's milk protein allergy? She doesn't have cow's milk protein allergy.
Have you tested?
I think she does. I think she does. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. So then I thought, right, okay, so we tried her on normal Aptamil, we tried her on Kendamil, we tried so many milks, didn't I? Nothing was agreeing with her. She was being sick all the time. She was either constipated or diarrhea. She was not a happy baby. So then I thought, right, let me get the comfort milk, which is an Aptamil, and it's partially hydrolyzed. And weirdly enough, her symptoms got slightly better, because by hydrolyzed, it means that the cow's milk protein allergy is partially broken down. It's easier for bodies to cope with, especially little tummies. Tried that for a while. Bear in mind, she was a hungry baby. The Aptamil Comfort is £20 a pot.
Yeah.
I needed to buy one every 3 days. So,
You think you could get that prescribed?
well, she's on a prescribed milk
Oh,
now,
cool.
but that one you can't.
Yeah.
So DWP, if you're ever wondering what my maternity pay went on, is actually comfort milk.
Can I get a refund?
Can I get a refund, please? Because she actually had a fucking allergy the entire time. But cheers. Then, when she was what? How long ago was it when I got the confirmation?
Not
She was
long.
about 6 months
Yeah,
or 7 months.
very recently.
I took her to the doctors and I said she's getting eczema on her neck. If it runs down onto her neck, she's still crying. She screams in the car. Blah 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 blah. She's got cow's milk protein.
And this is such a common thing, isn't it? You've spoken to so many mums on Instagram where it's the same. They just get pushed away.
No one gets listened to. No one. And all this, I've done so much research where cow's milk protein allergy with eczema, with spit up, they tend to go hand in hand because it's just the body not agreeing with something.
Yeah.
Same as with an adult body. If you're constantly eating something that disagrees with your digestive system, you're going to be sick.
Yeah.
You're going to have diarrhea. You're going to be grouchy
Your body's
because
reacting,
your
yeah.
body is reacting to something that it doesn't like. So then she got prescribed Nutramigen, which is a extremely hydrolyzed milk, which is great. Thank you NHS for the prescribing that eventually. And then I've cut all dairy out. So she's sleeping a little bit better. She's a bit more comfortable with that. No teeth. No teeth.
Her skin
I'm
looks
praying
amazing
for
as
you.
well. I was thinking that earlier. Her skin looks really good.
Look at her neck, it's all completely
it looks really
cleared.
good at the minute.
Yeah, because a lot of babies are allergic. You know the little black seeds in bananas?
Really?
It's the seeds.
Oh, so that's
It's not actually the banana itself, it's
Yeah.
the little seeds. So you can serve them banana by getting out all the little thousands of seeds that go down.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You ain't having banana. Scrap banana. Yeah.
Oh, bless bless her. But it's common with allergies. I did an allergy test and I'm lactose intolerant. Don't listen to it. But my list was about 20 things. I think if
she
you've
still eats.
if you've got a sensitive
And you're
stomach,
gluten intolerant, you still eat my
Yeah.
cupcakes.
yeah, I just think if you've got an intolerant belly to things, you have a pretty hard time. But obviously when they're a baby, you want to avoid that, of course, don't you? 'Cause it's not
Just
nice.
make my life easier and her because she's
Yeah.
so uncomfortable. With me, I'm allergic to, not allergic, but intolerant to so many things. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's
You
my
make the
choice.
thing is that's what it's your choice, but you are acting in her best interest. See, I was very, very lucky. Isla, I wasn't lucky as such, but like Isla was a very easy baby. Like she didn't have any trouble like with anything apart from at the start she had a bit of trapped wind. We took her to an osteopath a few times, which I think that's another like top tip as well. If you've had a C-section baby, because they're not pushed through the birth canal, their tummy doesn't get squeezed out, so they're more prone to tummy troubles.
And mucus.
Yeah, because Isla had that as well for about 3 weeks. But there's so much that they like. You sign this waiver for a C-section, but they don't quite then tell you like, oh, this could be an implication for your baby. Like, obviously, not natural vaginal birth is the best route for your baby, but as you know, for us three, that's not always how it's going to happen. But I do think there should be more information about how to then like what symptoms could occur in your baby because of having a C-section. It may not necessarily be because of that, but it's more likely. I mentioned it to my doctor, and I know for a fact that C-section babies are more likely to have tummy troubles. And it was when we were taking Isla to get our first round of vaccines, and I declined the rotavirus vaccine. And she was like, she could get seriously ill. I was like, she's exclusively breastfed. I was like, I looked into it. The chances of her getting it and getting seriously ill from it are minimal because she is exclusively breastfed. She was, I think she said something along the lines of, that's not true. I was like, okay. And then when I said about her having some tummy troubles anyway, she had trapped wind, about her coming through C-section, she also said that that's not true. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it is. And I actually, you question yourself when you've got a professional sitting in front of you, like you was denied.
Oh God, yeah.
You question yourself, like, am I imagining this? And then I literally googled it after, just a few searches, and it found that I was right. Like, they are more prone because they don't get squeezed through, and they don't get the microbiome from our vagina. They don't get that. It's called vaginal seeding or something. They don't get that. So then they're also more likely to have skin conditions like eczema, that sort of thing, because they don't get
because the vagina weren't vagina in.
Exactly, because they don't get the good bacteria onto their skin as they come out. So there is like these a ton of things.
What's it
They are more
called?
like microbiome, the gut, not microbiome because that's in your gut. I don't know if it is the vaginal microbiome.
There is, yeah, I know.
Something or other, but basically they don't get all that goodness because they're not squeezed through, and then they're not given all like your gunk. Basically, they don't get it. So, but I do think like when you're agreeing to a C-section, I'm not there in the moment. There should be like aftercare. Like your child could be more prone to this, and this because of the reason. So so genuinely speaking, she was a pretty easy baby. A bit of trapped wind, which I put down to the C-section, and the position. And when I spoke to the osteopath as well, I've spoken in the last podcast. I don't think we've actually aired that one, but it was Isla with breech my whole pregnancy, and she said it could have also been related to how she was sitting your whole pregnancy, so that could have been a link. And then also like the labour didn't help with it, but a few trips to the osteopath and really helped her. So if you do have a C-section baby and you feel like she was grunting, like you say, grunting. I was grunting a lot when I laid her on her back, and it got to a point where she would only sleep on my chest of a night. But it was after about 2 weeks, and I was so scared, like so scared. I was looking at all these co-sleeping pages. Eventually the grunting got better, but I think I tried to not fully co-sleep, but I slept with her on my chest, and I had like pillows propping my arms up, and I was barely sleeping because I was so nervous. Where I was breastfeeding as well, I was so nervous I was going to fall asleep feeding her. That's super dangerous. Like, it's so scary, and I was like, I did fall asleep feeding her like twice, and I remember I woke up and she was luckily safe in my arms, but that could have been really dangerous. So that's when I said like, enough is enough.
Also, not like I'm dissing the boobies, but that tends to happen on a larger breast. You know, like suffocation. If it's a boob that.
Well, I was worried she was going to slip down my arm. Like, that my arm, that she was going to slip down, and I was so scared. And that's when I said, like, right, enough is enough. I need to actually look into how to do this safely, because I was like, this isn't safe. I'm going to hurt her because I'm scared to co-sleep. So I kept just trying to put her back down in the cot, and like looking at it now, like I don't believe like obviously I know you've got the girls in their own room, but at the start, you've tried co-sleeping, you wanted to try it, but you were scared. I don't believe babies are, it's really scary.
I was adamant that she would die.
That's what I was scared, but I don't believe that babies are designed to come into this world to be separated from their mothers. They are designed to sleep. I truly believe that babies come to this world expecting to sleep. They've been in your womb for 9 months. They're going to come out and they're going to expect to be that close to you. And I feel like I fought it for so long because there's so much propaganda out about how you're going to suffocate your baby, you're going to kill their baby, and it's not a clear differentiation. That's not even a word. Difference between SIDS and suffocation. They say that your baby's going to get SIDS, and they say that like co-sleeping can cause SIDS, but co-sleeping actually reduces SIDS. It's the suffocation that's an issue. But if you've got a safe setup, your baby's not going to be at risk of suffocation. And looking at it now, like when I have a second child, I will co-sleep from birth, like from the second that baby is born, and because I know how to do it safely, I've co-slept with Viola since on and off since 2 weeks, but firmly since 4 months, and it saved my life. It really did, because I was so tired. Like breastfeeding her, she was up multiple times in the night the whole time that I breastfed her. And I always knew, and again, like it's probably me projecting that belief onto her, but it was the reality for me that she wasn't going to sleep well until I stopped breastfeeding. But I loved breastfeeding her, so I was willing to sacrifice my nights for that. And then when I stopped breastfeeding her, that's when she started sleeping well. But honestly, if you are in the thick of it and you're not sleeping, even bottle feeding, they say there are like co-sleeping rules and regulations. But again, like, I think as a mum, I personally believe they say that if you're breastfeeding, you're going to be more aware of your baby's needs, but I disagree with that. I think it's a mum's instinct is like no other. Like I know in my heart I never would have rolled on her. Like I never woke up in a position that compromised her. Like, and I wake up to her every sound, and I think all mums do. Like you wake up to the every movement. It's not the same for dads, but it's all
grunt or noise.
Yeah, it's wired into us. Like it really is. So that's a big tip for me. Don't be scared to co-sleep. Like if it feels right to you, if you feel like you want to do it but you're scared, it will probably be one of the best decisions you make, because it truly is. And I love sleeping with Viola. Like I would not change it for the world. I love it so much. I love cuddling her in the night. It's beautiful.
And then when we put her in her own room, I thought,
yeah, but you had her in the next to me.
Yeah, and
I think that's a very different experience. She doesn't want to sleep in bed with you, but I don't mind. I don't beat myself up if Lottie wakes up in the middle of the night and I get her out of her room and bring her in with me, because I think she needs me.
Yeah, she sleeps comfortably with you. 100%.
She loves sleeping with me and Danny now. She'll have her arm around both of us. She fucking loves it. So I went this morning, just another tip, not even a tip, advice. You're going to get kicked the shit out of by your daughter and punched in the face, but your husband or your partner's going to get little touches to be woken up. That's what she was doing this morning. Dada, dada.
No.
And she's kicking me in the face. Yeah. That's what I'm dealing with. I'm like, oh, it's okay, you just sleep with mummy.
She's been kicking you for over a year though.
Yeah.
What would your biggest tip, because obviously Lottie's been a better sleeper than Aurora and Isla, but for lack of sleep, like newborn or prolonged, like we've both, Isla, I've said she's never slept through the night. She's 19 months today and she's yet to sleep through the night. Don't be afraid. But like I said, like, I'm very happy with her sleep. Since we stopped breastfeeding, she started sleeping a lot more. She went through a bit of a regression at 18 months and it was fucking horrible. Like it was literally like being back in the newborn stages, but she's now back to normal and she'll wake once or twice in the night for some water and a cuddle. That's it. I can cope with that. I'm happy with that. But she still hasn't slept through the night. Like, and I do think potentially maybe she's ready for her own bed, but obviously living with parents is not an option. So for now we work with what we've got. But my biggest tip with that would be, like I said earlier, remembering that it's just a phase, but coffee. That's my biggest tip for the sleepless nights, coffee. And I always come back to, when you are really struggling, like always come back to this phrase, I think I've said it to you before, they're having a hard time, they're not giving you a hard time. Because it's so easy to get lost in frustration when you are sleep deprived, and obviously you don't necessarily take it out on them because you know it isn't their fault, but it's hard when they are the ones waking you up. It's really hard to, like when you are like maybe on like your 10th night of like 2 hours sleep a night, if that, it's really hard to keep your cool, like really, really hard. And that's what grounds me every time when I tell myself she's having a hard time, she's not giving me a hard time. That really grounds me. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. What about you two?
What, for sleep?
Yeah.
Jessica, I can't really say too much. I just get her in bed with me and then she sleeps.
Aurora slept fairly well, newborn.
Mm.
I actually bragged about it.
That's your downfall.
That's what I did as well, didn't I?
Shouldn't have. And then, how many months was she? I think she was about 4, 5. It just went completely downhill. Completely downhill. When she was in the next to me in our room, sometimes she'd wake me up 30 times. And my responses were getting pretty bad then. I was getting very agitated, very irate, hysterical crying, getting the ump about it. So there is a hole in our plasterboard downstairs where I flung a door open and the handle went through the wall. Don't know how my hand is still intact because there were a lot of walls that were punched and I knew which ones were brick. And I'd lump them with rage. And then I think when we put her in her room, the first night we put her in, she slept through the night and I thought, problem solved. This is it.
Yeah, I remember you telling us. You were so happy, weren't you?
Yeah, but it was...
Don't get too
I'm
excited.
sorry.
Please don't get also, punching the walls and doors getting swung, that's not her tip, by the way.
It's not healthy, but like I feel you, like I get out
yeah.
the nights where I literally like bang my head on the wall.
I used to smack
like,
myself in
literally,
the
like,
head.
I know, I
just
did
so sleep deprived.
because you just need a release, like it's just so frustrating.
Imagine you've been woken up 30 times, she'd sometimes wake me up. So my eyes would be closing and I'd fall off to sleep and I'd be back up again.
It's so hard, like you said before,
literally-
it's a form of torture.
It is torture. I'd sit there, full pelt, no holding back, smacking myself in the front of my skull.
Not a tip. Again.
Not a tip, right? Honestly, and Rash would be like, stop hitting yourself. I fucking love you. Do you want to feel these fists of fury? Right? So at the moment, me planting myself in my head is the only thing that's stopping me, honestly. And I know this sounds terrible, this is not a tip. I would sit there and I'd think how, I've told you guys this before, I might just throw myself down the stairs.
Yeah.
Like that.
The things is so hard, and that is the sort of feelings that like it brings you to.
Yeah.
Like when
I think I can't do this anymore. I've gone through a traumatic birth, then she slept and I thought, right, okay, because the thing is you couldn't fault her in the day, you still can't. She is so well behaved, she rarely grizzles, she is just very content, very smiley baby, right? So I would never change that for the world. But then the night time when she was supposed to be asleep and when I'd need to get my energy back because my partner works away a lot and I don't have any nearby family. My closest family is an hour away, the rest live in Wales. So the one time I'd like to regroup my energy, she'd be at it again. So then when we moved her into her room, obviously we had that first night, and then the nights were still getting pretty bad, but obviously now you're not just going over into a room, although they got less, the wake-ups, I'm having to walk to a different room, go back, walk to a different room, get back. And the nights I was just like, okay, this is it, this is the nights, blah, 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 blah. Then I remember one morning, she wouldn't go down for her morning nap. And over this course of time, I could feel that I was getting a little bit harsh with the way I'd pick her up, a little bit harsher with the way I'd put her back down to sleep. I'd show my rage in front of her, whereas before I would literally walk downstairs to go and punch the walls on the way down the stairs. I would swing her door shut a bit too aggressively, right? And I could see that in myself and I didn't want her to be scared of me. A lot of the time she would look at me and she'd laugh. And then I'd instantly, as soon as she'd look at me, it would bring me back and I'd be like, oh yeah, and try and make a joke out of it. And I'd be like, literally, I'd be like, oh, so funny. Because I didn't want her to start associating what I was doing with being scary, with being aggressive, with being nasty, with being sad. So I'd have to quickly, if I'd said, oh, for fuck's sake, just go to sleep, I'd be like, just go to sleep, you silly little mum, you know, to try and, you silly little, to try and she'd be like, ha, really funny, laughing at me. So God forbid one day, whichever partner she has, if he starts getting irate, or she, in front of her, she's going to be like, my mummy used to do that. You're funny.
Do you remember on like the term on tips? Do you remember what I said to you that one time? Because it was something that I found helped me a lot when I had said that I'd read a quote that said the baby expresses what the mother suppresses. And you talk a lot about rage, and I had a lot of rage. Mine wasn't as outwardly as expressed as yours, but mine was, but no, because I didn't feel safe expressing it, because I think as women a lot of the times you feel guilty for having anger, and like you feel like it shouldn't be an emotion that you should feel. And
but the weird thing is I could only express it really in the night time.
well, that's because you're at your wit's end, like,
And that's when it became a problem. So my top tip was ringing the doctor.
and I love that. I love that for you.
I'm not one to turn around and say, oh yes, ring the doctors, they'll fix all your problems. But when she wouldn't go down to sleep for that nap, I was on the floor sobbing, rocking back and forth like a mad woman. And I'd been thinking for a while that I was struggling. So I rang the doctors, and the woman on the phone was so amazing. She was like, right, we'll book you in for an appointment. I got an appointment that day, and they put me on sertraline. And I have not had a breakdown since in the nights. So it's not that the problem's necessarily fixed with the sleep.
Well done for getting help.
But because I'm not getting into such a low state of depression, I've managed to put my focus into what could be affecting her skin. What cream is the best? What could I change about what she's wearing to bed? What could I change about the light? Where should I put this light? Where should I move that? So it's actually just given me the power to not lose it and be able to switch things. So that say now she's not waking up 30 times. The other night she woke up about 14, but majority were around the 5 or 6 or 7 marks.
Which compared to 30, no.
That's under half.
Yeah. But I think as well, you know, Abigail says it all the time, and I will vouch for that as well. Like, we have a lot of support.
Yeah.
You really don't. You're doing it on your on your own.
Like works the way
on your own. Like my mum, if anything goes wrong and I'm having a bit of a moment, I'll call her and she'll be round in 10 minutes. Like, that is a luxury to have that. So you do also need to give yourself credit that you have been dealing with this. It's fucking hard, and you've been doing it alone with no one really you can call your mum, of course, and call a family member, but having someone physically with you there is completely different, you know.
It's like waking up and my dad bring me up a cup of tea in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you know how much of a difference that makes than having to get out of bed and go make a cup of tea? Like, it seems minor, but these things are having someone to talk to in the morning. Like, these things make such a difference. That's why I'm so grateful that my life has actually panned out the way that it has, because of the sheer amount of support that I have got around me. Like, she has got 2 sides of the family that love her dearly and want to spend, and I'm not saying obviously like your family don't love her dearly, but they're not close by. No. Like, your mum's in Wales, that she's not round the corner, like you can't just call on her like that. And like we said, like I've always said to you, like my hats, many hats come off to you.
I have many hats.
I know how much I struggled with the sleep. We've either start with the lack of sleep and like the prolonged lack of sleep. I know how hard it is, yet I've had all this support. So to do that with that support, I just can't comprehend it, because like I would just have handled it very differently than I have today. So that's why I said like hats off to you, because like we've spoke about like Searchline before, like I've been on it previously, and whilst I don't agree with it as a longer term thing, it helped me massively for a very short period of my life, and it's clearly helping you. So if you need help, ask for help. Like
100%.
As a regulated mum,
that's what it's done. It's regulated.
Yeah.
So I still feel my emotions. I still get agitated. I still think, oh, fucking hell, she's awake again. But I'm not
taking the edge off.
So I was crashing down. I was getting to a point where I don't know if I can actually physically live anymore. So that now is just, I'm going to, my fix, and to hopefully keep better in the sleep and just learn different ways of making things easier for myself to then eventually come off them. But if I hadn't done that, I don't know where I'd be right now. So if you really do believe that you need help, because I've been thinking about it for months before that.
Because what is it? There's a name. It's like postpartum rage and depression. Like, I think they both kind of come.
That's what they said I've got.
And that's the thing. I think it's so common. And I also do think the support that you have in your life really plays a lot into that.
Yeah.
I think it's important, like if you are thinking of starting a family, you don't think about these things when you're pregnant. You don't think, what support system have I got around me? But I think if you're
I knew that I had no one around me, but I didn't realise
but
how
you don't,
much
but
I
that's
actually
because
need the people
no
around.
one says this. Well, they probably do say it, but you don't listen. But now we are saying it. Like, if you are thinking of starting a family and you're not pregnant yet, really look at the support you've got around you, because you are going to need people. And don't get me wrong, like, you will find people along the way. Like we said in the last podcast, like, we became close through our children. Like, I have met some amazing mums that are now like best friends of mine through having my child, and you will meet them. But like, just having a solid foundation of support around you is so important. And I think this leads nicely into our next point, which we wanted to talk about, like emotional regulation. So first of all, like understanding your child's needs, which you've been trying to do through the night now, because even with colic is a symptom. Colic isn't a diagnosis. It's a symptom of something being wrong. And a lot of doctors, I think, they would just say, oh, she's got colic, just so that they lazy, so they ain't got to do nothing else. Like,
oh, thank you.
It's a symptom. Like, colic is just a word for a symptom of what they are experiencing. So they're not, 9 times out of 10, they are not crying for no reason. There is always something else at play. And like, this is why I said at the start of the podcast with like tantruming, and that like I just had like maybe, I would say, to count 2 episodes where she has been inconsolable, and like I haven't even been able to reason with her. One of them I spoke about in the last podcast was over the chip. And I was out at a play date with my friend and her daughter, and she'd ordered chips and I'd ordered like a sandwich with crisps, and I wanted Dinah to eat the sandwich, and as soon as she sees chips, she wants chips. And she wanted the chips off my friend's plate. So I was like, no, Isla, like, we've got the sandwich and we've got some crisps, you can have some of the crisps if you want. And like, my friend was like, I was like, no, because I've said no. I was like, I can't backtrack now. And she smacked me in the face, and it was the first time she'd ever done something like that. So I was kind of taken aback. I was like, oh my god,
I am your mother.
I was really taken aback, and I was like, and I was trying not to laugh because I don't want to laugh in her face when she's upset, but I didn't really know what to do, and then she did it again. So I was like, right, Isla, I was like, that's enough. I was like, you don't hit me. I was like, you can be upset over the chips, but you don't hit me. So that was like one of the first big ones, and she eventually, like, I just kept explaining to her, I kept trying to reason with her. And I just said to her in the end, I went, Hannah, do you want to cuddle? And she cuddled into me, and then she calmed down after that, and that was it. And then the second time was not that long ago actually, and she wanted breakfast, but it was like 5:30, and I was like, in a minute, I was like, let's have a cup of tea first. But she'd had a bad night's sleep, so she was very, very tired. So this is what I mean when I say it's not for no reason. She was hungry and she was tired. Like, there's always something that goes into it, and like with the chip, she isn't getting what she wanted. Like, you may think that's minor, but to a child, that's the end of the world.
Oh, well,
they're tiny. They don't understand that. They don't get that. That is the end of the world to them. And the second, like, she was inconsolable, and like, it was for a good like 45 minutes. She was just crying, and she was going there, like she just wanted to go everywhere where she were, and nothing was good enough. And in the end, I said to her, I was like, Isla, like, we need to just sit here. We're going to sit here. You can cry, you can be upset. I just let her feel the feels. And I was like, when you're ready, we'll get a snack. And then eventually she calmed down and she was like, snack. Then we got a snack. But I think it's
there's
very
so many
important.
emotions.
And it's so important to understand that they're not us. And even we clearly can't regulate ourselves without practice.
Clearly need medication.
They don't have any understanding. Like, they need us to teach them these things. And I do think they're more our teachers than we are theirs. But in terms of like earthly things, like learning how to regulate their emotions, that is what we are here to teach them, because it's the baseline of how they're going to live the rest of their life. Like, they can have success in many ways, but if you can't regulate yourself in a time of stress, then how much is that success worth it? Because one bad decision from a place of stress could ruin it all for you. So I think it's so important to, rather than react, to sit and think, why are they acting this way? What can I do to help in this moment? Because 9 times out of 10, when they are severely distressed, no amount of reasoning is going to work. They're not in a state of receptivity, so they can't listen to you. So I think it's very important to just let them feel their feels. And I think we're also passionate about that. Like, as hard as it can be sometimes, because as a mum, like, your natural instinct is to fix, like, to want to make everything better for them. But if you do that every time, if you distract them, like, oh, you're sad, let's put on the telly, let's do this, let's do that. If you distract them from their feelings, they're never going to learn how to process them. We need to let them feel that feel the depths of it, and then when it's starting to calm down a little bit, then we can start teaching her. I say to Isla, like, do you want to count with me? When I can see her getting frustrated, I say, do you want to count with me? She goes, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And she will start to count, but she gets the basis of it. She will take a deep breath now sometimes, and don't get me wrong, it's not every time. If she's in a high state of stress, she won't do it. But I practice more with her when she's calm, and the more you can practice these things when they're calm, the more they can bring them in when they are in them high states of stress. And because that's another big tip of mine, I think, for regulating myself, because I have shared before, like, I find it very hard sometimes to regulate myself. I get overwhelmed, I get very, very stressed out. I wouldn't say as much. I feel like I've felt a big shift maybe these last few weeks or so, where I feel a lot more patient and a lot more able to just...
Do you reckon that's because you stopped breastfeeding?
No, that definitely helped with it, because I've got to a point where, like, I want to touch on breastfeeding in a minute, actually, because I've realised we forgot to go over that, so maybe we can talk about bottle feeding in a second. But that definitely helped, because that gives me a lot of freedom and personal space. Like, so that definitely did help. But I don't know, it's just like a shift. Like, I've been doing a lot of internal work. Like, I'm always doing internal work myself. I always fix. But I'm at a point now where I'm not trying to fix, I'm just noticing patterns when they come up, and frustration was a massive pattern for me. And I accept the frustration, but I now don't associate with it. Like, the frustration is just a feeling that is flowing through me. Feel it, let it be. It is what it is. Whereas before, I'd start reeling and I'd start thinking, this is shit, I'm so angry, like, this, what's going on, sort of thing, and I start reeling in my mind, which then feeds the emotion. Whereas now I just sit, I recognise, right, I'm feeling frustrated, just sit and I breathe. And it's, again, it sounds so simple, but just breathing, taking deep breaths, 4 deep breaths, breathing for a count of 4, hold it out for a count of 6. If you can do that for a minute, you can change your state of being from frustration to calmness. And it doesn't change the situation, because the situation is out of your control. But the only thing you can actually control is how you feel. Yeah. And it is hard, and it takes a lot of practice. It's taken me 6 years to get to this point, so it's not an overnight thing, but that is my biggest tip. Start with the breath. If you can feel yourself getting overwhelmed and frustrated, just come back to your breath. Just breathe in, out, notice it, and then you will eventually start to notice your body, the tension will start to release a little bit, because the emotions will otherwise get trapped in your body. When you breathe, you release it. So that's a big tip for me, I think.
I completely agree. And for me as well, it's just getting outside.
You are so good at doing that.
I went for a 2-hour walk yesterday. Was it 2 hours? Was it yesterday?
I don't know, just pretty much every day of the week.
But that's like my mental challenge, and it distracts me if I'm thinking, right, I'm really feeling this, I feel so tired, I've come on my period, everything's really overwhelming, I'm stuck indoors, I feel suffocated. I was literally a homebody before I had Lottie. I'm the polar opposite now. I hate being at home. If I had a night off, I'd be a homebody. But with a baby, you have to get out, and she's been teething, so that hasn't been great being indoors. But as soon as we get out, she's happier, I'm happier, I'm breathing in fresh air, I go and treat myself to a coffee. And I was just walking for hours, and you come home and you think, oh, okay, I can actually deal with the rest of the day now. So just get out, because I think you can get stuck in a bit of a rut, especially when you've just had a baby. You don't want to leave the house. I didn't anyway. I just wanted to stay in my little bubble, and I was too scared.
I was scared.
Even later on in the month, she was like 4 months. Some weeks I'd want to go out, but I couldn't find the energy.
Yeah.
Because little things like doing the packing the bag.
Yeah, God.
Getting this, getting that. Everything feels such a task. Now I pack the bags and I'm straight out the door.
Yeah.
I don't even think about packing the baby bag now, but unless I've got to pack her lunch. But you know when you're just like, oh yeah, food, okay, bottle, got that, forget.
Yeah.
And you're just out, because you just think, well, if
everything
I got something
will be
off
okay.
That's the thing. Worst question, go to a shop.
Yeah.
Nappies, like. But I know that is an amazing tip, because that was really big for me as well. Like,
get
you say I was scared. So I remember I've come up with my memories the other day. A journal entry from when Isla was 8 weeks old. It was like, I'm going to the shops with Isla on my own today. I'm really scared, but I'm doing it. And I remember just being so scared to leave the house, because I was so worried that something would go wrong. Yeah. I forget something. You're new to it. You don't understand. But
I used to think I was going to let go of the pram and watch the pram hurtling toward traffic.
Intrusive thoughts. But it is. It's so easy to get lost in the fear that you won't push yourself. But like, once you're out, everything's better. Like, everything's okay. And I know that me and you are very similar in that sense. And like, you've got a lovely river walk near your house as well. And I know we all feel that as soon as we get in nature, like, your head just calms.
As soon as I'm out the door, because she, like Lottie and like Isla, they're like this, looking around, and I'm like,
Because my mum used to say to me, Leah, would you want to look, because when they're a baby, she's like, would you want to just stare at a ceiling for like fucking 10 hours? I went, yeah, good point. She went, they're just laying there like that.
Bored.
Yeah.
She went, get some stuff going on, like let her see trees, let her breathe in the air, and she loves it now. Like her new thing now is, where are the trees? And she points at trees.
I love her.
So she's a nature girl,
Really
through and
good
through.
nature. Really
Crops
good
and
girl.
bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a really good one. So I want to try and make it flow.
Breasticles.
Titties.
I can't talk on this because I tried for 2 weeks.
No, but you can talk on it because you tried, and you can talk on it as well because you didn't want to. Like all
And
of
I
that.
feel shit that I didn't.
No, because all of that is valid.
Yeah.
Like, that's you. It's
I felt
up
like
to
I
you.
failed because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But then I also thought by stopping this, it means that I can share the feeds,
Exactly.
which has rarely happened
Yeah.
anyway. So I probably should have actually have just carried on with the bleeding nipples anyway. But yeah.
If your partner has gone through breastfeeding and has been fucking struggling and then she needs some help, fucking help her. It's not difficult.
Yeah, pick up a bottle.
Shall I
That's all
start?
I've got to say on that,
I
yeah.
would class myself as a breastfeeding expert. So I breastfed Isla for 16 months, exclusively breastfed. She never had formula, and that was one thing I was adamant that I really, really wanted to do. Because I believe, and I am not saying this with the intent to offend anyone. I'm saying this as a fact. Breast is best. Like, we all know this. Like, and that is in no way to shame anyone that chooses to bottle feed, that can't breastfeed. That is in no way to shame. It's just a fact. Like,
It is.
your breast milk, if your baby's ill, their saliva will indicate to your body what antibiotics they need your body to create to make them better. Like, it's just, there's so much that goes into it on the, like, that connection sort of thing that you can't replicate in formula. And that's not saying that formula is bad. Like, a fed baby is a happy baby. Like, what's most important is that you love your baby. But for me, I just knew that I wanted to breastfeed. Like, and I was adamant. Yeah, I just really, really wanted to. And I remember with, like, my whole birth, it was just so horrible that when we come out and I was laying on the table, I had all these wires on me, and she was like nuzzling, like opening her mouth. And I said to the nurse, like, 'cause obviously I didn't have a clue, and I've got fake boobs, so I was really scared I wouldn't be able to breastfeed. My mum wasn't able to breastfeed me. She had like really terrible pain and bleeding nipples as well, like you. She tried, but she just looked down and she said that I had a mouthful of blood, and she was like, right, I can't do this. And again, that's valid. All of this is valid. Like, but she was nozzling, and I said to her, so I was like, do you think she wants to feed? And she was like, yeah, definitely. She was like, give it a go. And she literally latched like straight away, and like that really just brought me back down to reality. I was like, right, this is actually going right for me. Like, this is perfect. And I shared earlier that I struggled so much in the newborn phase, and I think the biggest reason for that struggle was breastfeeding, because no one will prepare you for how hard it is. Like, there's not much information out there, like, at all about breastfeeding. I do think bottle feeding is a lot more common than breastfeeding. I think most people I know, but I know a few people that breastfeed or try to breastfeed, but I think as time goes on, because it is so hard and because there isn't much information out there, I think bottle feeding is more of the norm. And I remember, luckily, I knew 2 people that long-term breastfed. So I was texting them constantly, like, is this normal? Because I fed for 6 weeks straight. She didn't come off the boob. Like, when they say about cluster feeding, that wasn't, it wasn't even a thing. Isla didn't stop feeding. She did not stop feeding. It was constant for 6 weeks straight. And I was like, this can't be normal. Like, am I giving her enough? And like, you've got all these thoughts going through your head. But now it is normal. They're a baby. Like, they're all different. They've all got different feeding needs. Like, your milk's coming through at different rates. You can't tell how much they're getting. They're taking what they need. And it's also, it's not just food. Like, breastfeeding is the connection, and I think there's also the energetics that go into play with traumatic births. Like, your baby is naturally going to want to be closer to you because you're feeling that separation from the birth. They're naturally going to want to be closer. But with the breastfeeding, I think I just want to share this because this really, really helps me get through it. The 2 people that I knew that breastfed, they said to me, if you can get through the first 6 weeks, you can do it. And I held on to that so much. There were so many times where Frank was saying to me, like, let's just get a bottle of formula, because he was seeing how much I was struggling. And like, there was so many times where I considered it, but I'm very, very strong-willed. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, and I just knew I really, really wanted to, so I just stuck to that. So, right, if I can do 6 weeks, if you don't get better after 6 weeks, then maybe I'll consider it. But let me get to 6 weeks, and I got 6 weeks, and it just got so much easier after that. It's like they're figuring it out as well as you are. So that's just my biggest piece of advice for breastfeeding. 1, don't expect it to be easy, because for me and anyone else I know that breastfeed, it's not easy. like you will know that from the first 2 weeks, because the first 2 weeks are for me were the hardest, and like, I nearly give up so many times because it is so intense. Like it makes me emotional, but it's so hard. I remember like
I had no milk supply.
Really, so you had to like build it up.
For after the first week, so I was bleeding nipples on the second day of doing it because the hospital taught me to latch wrong. Then after the first week, she was cluster feeding, like constant, always on my boob, and I was like, she's still hungry. She's screaming in hunger. She's been feeding on me for like 45 minutes and she's not full. So that's when I tried using the pump, and for days there was nothing in there.
Really? I did, but do you know, this is where I think like education, but I think education is big with this, because a pump will never get the same out of you than your baby will. And you might think that she's screaming in hunger, but Isla did that as well. Like they scream when they want to up your milk supply. They will scream and they will fuss and they'll nuzzle at the boob, because that's them signaling to your body. That's how they signal to your body that they need you to make more milk. It's very clever. Like it's very clever. But like I say, there needs to, because you're questioning yourself. Like, is my milk supply enough? 9 times out of 10, I think yes, your milk supply is enough, but there's not enough out there to give you that confidence.
No.
Plus the pain.
And I was very like, I experienced no pain, and I'm very lucky. Yeah.
I know so many people that have had that experience where they've just said it's so painful.
Oh my god, I'd literally be digging.
What, and they said that she was latched properly? Did they check her for tongue tie or anything? Really? See, that's the thing, and I just feel like there could be so much more support given, because I feel like it is quite pushed in the hospitals. Like, are you breastfeeding? Did you get that? Like, no, so I've read a lot.
They got annoyed with me every time I pushed the buzzer. So
really?
Right.
But because I breastfeed, I didn't experience, but I have read a lot on like the Facebook mum pages that I'm on, where a lot of people felt like they was pressured from midwives to breastfeed, sort of thing. But like, if you're going to give that pressure, then you should be giving the help.
Yeah, exactly.
As well, like
they probably don't have enough training on it.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to really eliminate natural births. I think personally now, the whole natural. I don't know what the word is, but what we're destined to do, the nature of motherhood, giving birth vaginally, breastfeeding, I feel like they are trying to scrap that now.
Have you watched the podcast, James English podcast with the NHS? Which she literally says that there's a director high up that she said that he said that they needed to just abolish natural births. Because you know, the hospitals, they make about $3,000 per C-section profit.
More. 100% they sell at centres.
Oh yeah,
on the black market,
and this
is
what she says in the
20K.
podcast. And I think maybe we should keep this for another podcast, because we are getting into time here. But this is what she said: like, there's no record to where the percentages go. It's all. I really, really agree with what you're saying. Like,
harvesting.
There's a lot more at play than we see, and that is why you need to be so in your own power when you are choosing to have a child. And I think sometimes it takes a traumatic birth to take you. To that place. I think it's been the case for us three.
Yeah, next time's going to be a very different
100%.
Are you going to try vaginally next time?
Yeah,
I did that shit.
Yeah, I will hang on till the very, very last minute. If it has to be an emergency, it will, but I'm hanging on, I'm trusting my body, and I would love to try and breastfeed next time.
Oh, I love that.
I was just so traumatised. That was the only reason why I didn't do it. I didn't know what was going on.
Pain as well.
Yeah, I was on day 4, and I was just like, when they finally handed it to me, I was just like, well, just tell me what to do. And they were like, well, it's up to you. I was like, no one was really guiding me. I was just like, just trauma.
And you're in a ton of drugs as well. Like, you're not in a clear space to make decisions. And you were scared as well. And that's why when you said you feel guilty, don't ever feel guilty, because this is like the end point. Maybe this ties nicely into the end. Like, mum guilt is such a big thing. Like, we all feel it. And I've got a lot better with it, because I realise it doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve Isla. Like, I've made a decision, it's done, I can't change it. Why should I sit and feel guilty about it? Because the only thing it's going to do is affect how I parent Isla in the now if I'm sitting and feeling guilty.
Yeah.
So it is pointless, it's a very pointless, but it's handy because it shows us where maybe we want to make changes, like if, like with frustration and stuff, like you'll feel guilty about it because it's your body telling you, okay, maybe this isn't aligned with how I want to be as a mum. So it is handy, but it is ultimately ruining it is pointless. So I think that's the biggest point that we wanted to make, that whatever choice you make as a mother, if you make it with love, then that is the right choice for you and your baby.
Yeah.
If you choose to breastfeed, if you choose to bottle feed, if you elect to go for a C-section, like any choice you made, as long as it is made with love and of the highest intention, then it is the right choice. And you may get a couple months down the line and regret it, but it was the right choice at the time with the information you had at that time. So that is all that matters. Like, no one is making a decision for them. Probably exceptions to that. I know there are some people that probably are, but no good mum is making a decision out of the worst interest of their baby. We all want the best for them. We all love them to bits, and like, everyone's doing their best with the information they've got.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the biggest thing, to just not put so much pressure on yourself and compare yourself to other mums, because you are perfect, you're doing your best, like, that's all that matters.
Exactly. And happy mum, happy baby, because they feed off of our energy.
Yeah.
100%.
They share our energy field for the first 7 years. They share our energy field.
There you go. So if you're struggling and ripping your hair out, that's not going to be a positive for either of you. So just do what's best for you and baby as well. But as long as you're happy and it's something that may make your life that little bit easier, then just fucking do it. That's what I would say. And go for lots of walks.
Yeah.
And visit charity shops. Sometimes I go to the same charity shops twice in a day.
See if they've got new stock.
Just in case they've got new stock. Mainly homeware. I like trinkets, and sometimes I get they just put new mugs out, so go twice.
Love it. I love it.
And that will lead us into the peace sign for the end.
That's us, girlies. So yeah, just keep doing you. And
We're going to have another vino now.
yeah, we've got a party tonight. That's why we're all dressed semi-cowboy-ish. It's Leah's mum's
Snoop Dogg.
50th. Big up Michelle.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg cowboy. I'm a farmer. You're a natural cowgirl.
I am.
Yeah.
I ain't got the hat.
Texas girl.
Hat's in the car.
But yeah, we're going to go and get our babies and our men now. So peace out.
Bye.
Sick.
Love that, girls. That was a really good one. Like, I feel
Very
like
good. I'm gonna have
And we
the
got
conversation
some
flowed
sweating hot.
really well.
I
Like,
know,
that was
the
really
sweating
good.
hot is very over.
We was very conscious of each